that's the best. That's the best shirt yet. There you go.
What's the shirt?
Stones.
Oh.
I had my Bad Company shirt on yesterday. That was yesterday.
That's okay.
Yeah. Ready to roll. All right. Cal this week. First of all, coming up on the halfway point of the season. This will be, for us at least, exactly halfway. Both coming off losses, ironically enough, to Oregon State, both us and Cal. They're much improved on offense this year. They're averaging over 400 yards and over 30 points a game. I think it's 425 and 32 to be exact, something like that. And very balanced, almost exactly the rushing and passing yardage is very similar, about 215 on each in each phase. They're 3-3, and we got them at home, which will be nice. We love playing in front of our crowd here at Rice Eccles, so that'll be a positive. 1 o'clock kick, another positive. We seem to have lucked out this year with the afternoon or the early afternoon kicks or even morning kicks. So that's been a nice, pleasant change for us. That's where we're at. So we have the one loss in conference play, which is disappointing for us, obviously. But I'll be shocked if anybody goes through this league undefeated. I just don't see that happening. Could be wrong, but there's so many good football teams in this league. I just don't know if anybody can run that gauntlet undefeated. But time will tell. So, Justin, what do you got for me today?
Okay, so based on the current quarterback situation, does it remind you of back in the John Hayes days when he had a takeover?
Very similar. Yeah, we were pretty beat up that year, and John came in and did some good things for us, and so there is some similarity to that, but just keep forging ahead. That's all you can do, and that's what we plan on doing, just moving forward.
You said last week that you would know sooner rather than later if
correct.
Available. Is that like Monday?
Yeah,
Tuesday?
that's like today. Yeah, that is today. So we're there. We're at that point. No. If somebody can give me one reason why it would help us win more to announce it, then I'll tell you everything. But I can't think of one thing. If you think of one thing, let me know, because I'd be excited to hear it.
So knowing that, getting an answer at some point today about Cam's availability, if he can't go, does he practice at all? Do all those snaps get invested in the starter and the backup?
Yeah, if he's unable to go, then we would need to invest all the snaps in the guys that are able to go. Now, I say all the snaps. There's still ways to work Cam into practice without diluting what the other guys are doing. There's different drills and things that he can participate in if it comes to that, and that's essentially what we've been doing a lot of the weeks prior. And so, yeah, he will continue to be involved, but if it's deemed that he can't play, then that will be scaled obviously way back from what it would be if he's able to go.
Speaking of that backup quarterback situation, you said last week that with Bryson's injury, we may now be in a position where with Batari, Brandon Rose might be held on. Is that still the case?
Still the case, yeah. We're still trying to figure out Bryson's situation as well, and so that's two unknowns at this point. Yeah.
Do you have clarity on Brandon's availability, his availability to play?
Yes, yeah, he's available. Brandon's available, but like I said, I think last week he's missed 6-7 weeks of ball. That's a big chunk of time to miss and try to come back in and get caught up.
With Cal, I mean, you said they're a balanced team. Is there anything particular from that Oregon State game that you can glean from that, or is it a different type of a game?
Well, they went with a different quarterback. They went back to number 15, and that was, I don't want to say a surprise, but we were expecting to see the other guy when we turned on the film, or when we watched the game. I'm sure most of us watched it live. But RPO team, apparently they've committed to number 15. That's who we expect to see. I guess that's speculation as well. But we have a pretty good idea that's who it'll be. Good running backs. Impressed with their running backs, 1 and 22 in particular. You got the receiver that's got a bunch of balls, 30-plus catches. But again, it was an offensive shootout with Oregon State. What was it, 50-something, 40-something? So a lot of offense in that game, very, very dramatically different than what we experienced at Oregon State. It was more of a defensive showdown, so a different type of game.
Your defense has played really, really well. Are there any areas of opportunity for improvement?
Always opportunity for improvement. We're not getting quite as many takeaways as we typically have gotten through the years. We're not bad. I think we're in the fourth or fifth in the league in takeaways, but not as many as we're accustomed to. Can always get more pressure on the quarterback, even though we're fourth or fifth in the league in sacks. Run defense has been stout, playing really good there. Third downs have been outstanding. And that's really a critical stat that a lot of people overlook, because a third down is a mini turnover. If you stop third down, you're getting the ball back. And so, and also fourth downs as well. We lump them all into conversion downs. Third and fourth down are conversion downs. And we're playing really well there. So, yeah, there's room for improvement, but they've done a lot of good things, a whole lot of good things.
Is it your expectation that you'll get some of those guys out, some of those guys who've been out back this week?
We hope so. None of them, I can say, none of them were able to go last week. Last week was a week to try to get some guys healed up, but we'll find out more today at practice what we got.
What is something right now that you can take pride in about your football team halfway through the season?
I would say how they've handled adversity. I think they've done a nice job handling adversity. We had, we've had some tough spots through the season, and they seem to have a great attitude, a great mentality towards that. Stick together, they stuck together very well. We know we've played better on O than we have on D so far, but there's been absolutely no finger pointing or any of that type of thing. They've done a nice job of staying unified, and so yeah, I'd say those things.
What is the strength of Cal's defense right now?
Good question. Not to say they don't have strength, but just to pick one. They're playing mostly even front. They got some good edge guys. A couple good backers. The boundary corner's a good player. Not a lot of pressure. About 10% on control downs, first, second downs. It goes up to about 25% on third down. But they're just playing very sound, solid football. And Coach Wilcox is a really good defensive coach. I mean, that's his forte. And you're always going to get sound schemes and fundamentals and technique out of teams that he coaches.
4 teams, before you even got to the halfway point, have had to play multiple quarterbacks, obviously including yourselves. As a program, what can be done to make sure when and if that happens that the backup or backups are ready to go?
Yeah, that would be an ideal situation. I'm going to tell you right now, it's much harder to have maintain quality backups in your program because of the portal. Quarterbacks don't want to sit, and if they're think they should be playing, they're not going to hang around as a number 2 or number 3, and so they're going to be on the move. And so that's a very fluid position. A lot of transition. That room has got more change from year to year than any room in the, and I'm sure in anybody's building, just because of the nature of how that works. But if you're this day and age, if you have a solid 2, you're in good shape. And not to say we don't, but it's just more difficult because of the portal and quarterbacks being on the move, and where only one can be on the field. They typically don't want to, unless they're a real young guy behind a senior. That could be the exception.
Did you go after a transfer in the portal this year?
Did we? No, we were expecting that we'd be set. And I don't know who we could have attracted knowing that Cam was coming back. That's another thing. There was not, who's going to come sit behind Cam. If you're in the portal to go play somewhere, not sit again or wherever you're doing at your first school. But, that was not an ideal situation for really any quarterback to come to us this past offseason.
I believe recently the NCAA changed the transfer portal window again.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in favor of that, or what do you see with that?
It's not a big deal. 30 days, 45 days. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as there's going to be opportunities at the end of each semester, is what it sounds like. And so whether they trim it down and you have to make your decision a little sooner or later, I don't think that'll really have much of an impact at all.
Kyle, will the quarterbacks who go in the portal who really have leverage and opportunity be guys who go in with a redshirt year plus a couple years to play, so that they are prepared to be a backup if an opportunity opens, but they're also there to compete for starting jobs without losing.
I guess that's a scenario, a possibility, but I think most of them go in wanting to find a place to play right away, and a lot of them are guys that were established at the school they're at. You know, there's not, some of them are starters already where they're at. They just want to improve their situation or get a bigger chunk of NIL. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they get on the move, but that certainly could be one of them. If you got a redshirt year and that gives you a little bit of time to learn the system and maybe sit behind an established guy knowing that you're the heir apparent. I guess that's a good point.
Johnny Maillet was always listed as the starter at center, obviously was injured coming in. Jaron moves over into that position, he's done it all year. Are you seeing that as kind of the permanent spot for Jaron, or how do you kind of...
Not permanent. Did get some guys banged up in the last game, O-line wise, and so we may have to shuffle the deck again this week, and we'll see. It's Monday, and we got the entire week to work through that, but want to get that solved sooner rather than later. But I think today will tell us a lot about where we're at in that regard. I know it will.
Same with Jonah Ellis. In at least the 2 weeks that was released, he overtook Van. Is that just kind of indicative of how he's played? Or?
Yeah, #1 sack guy in the country. At least he was, I think, before this past weekend. I'm not sure if he still is, but he's had a tremendous year and is a tremendous football player, although he got banged up in the last game as well. So we got quite a few question marks that we don't know right now that we got to answer the next day or two.
Pay attention to any of the publicity over the weekend since you made the announcement with the trucks, because it seemed like you talked about ahead of time that it would draw national attention. It seemed like it did.
From what I hear, I don't have much time to get online or anything like that, but from what I've got, feedback-wise, very favorable. I guess there's a few naysayers out there, but I think it gave us the net result was very positive, and appreciate the collective making that possible for our guys. I mean, it's no situation's ever perfect, and some were griping, I understand, about, well, not everybody got one. Yeah, well, not everybody gets NIL deals. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. It's like the NFL. Some guys make $20 million, some guys make $400,000. I mean, it's different. It's different for every guy, and it's it's free enterprise, I guess, what you could say. But definitely a positive for our program. Overall, a big positive and a real selling point for future recruits.
Is your running game at this point where you want it?
Not at all. Not even close. That's one of the disappointments. Last week we were out without Jaquindon and Charlie, and Mackay, of course, been gone. So it's been Jalen Glover, and he's given us good effort, but we got to get 5 yards a carry is kind of the benchmark of what we're looking for, and we're not getting that, not even close. And so that is a big issue for us right now, and a point of concern.
I'm just curious, because throughout this season, a couple times you've said, I've never experienced anything like this in my career when it comes to the injuries,
Right.
the quarterback situation. I mean, really, the list goes on. So I'm just curious, what have you learned about this, like for yourself as a head coach, about this season when dealing with such chaos and shake?
I don't know. Maybe get a Ouija board or something to help out with the injuries. I don't know. It's stuff that, and we've looked at it from every single angle. Are we doing something wrong in practice? Are we training wrong in the off season? I mean, we look at constant trying to figure out why just the mass influx of guys that can't be on the field, and haven't found any real one thing that we say, oh, that's it. We got to identify it. It's just trying to, and maybe it could just be bad luck. That's just an unfortunate situation. But you move on, because like I said, nobody cares. I've said that many times. Your opponents are thrilled that you're all beat up, and so you can't feel sorry for yourself. You just got to figure out how to put your best guys out there and put them in position to succeed. That's what we're trying to do.
Were you surprised by any of the results in the Pac-12 this weekend?
Surprised. Arizona sure played USC tough. 3 overtimes. That was being able to hang with them on the road. That was, I think that's indicative of what Jed Fish has been able to do there. Made a lot of progress. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Colorado won again. I don't think that was a surprise. I think that was a fairly close point spread, as far as the prognosticators, if that's the right word. Refresh my memory. Who else played?
UCLA, Washington State.
UCLA got them. UCLA's a good football team, particularly on defense, so I don't think that was a surprise, although that game could have gone either way. Huskies, Did they play? I think they were idle. Yeah, they were idle. So no, I don't think there was any big surprises that you look at and say, "Wow, that's a head scratcher." Or that really is something you didn't see coming. I would say that everything was. I don't want to say, what you'd expect, but it was not a real weekend for upsets or surprises in the league.
Any other questions?
Okay, guys. Thanks.